If you've been around crypto for the last two cycles, you would know that this cycle has been extremely different. Last cycle, a lot of the alts just began moving as Ethereum began to gain market share and pumped along with Ethereum. This cycle is a little bit different. You guys can already see as Ethereum has pumped for the past couple of months, altcoin dominance hasn't really followed the same way. So we're going to be taking a look at the others chart, which is the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10 in percentage terms. And what this means is that we're looking at the relative measure, basically how much of the total crypto pie is taken up by the other sector versus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And right now, as we can see this chart, the altcoins really haven't received much liquidity in relative measure. Whereas if we go on to the others chart in absolute dollars, we can take a look at, yes, it has been going up since 2022, but this is more of a rising tide lifts all boats scenario rather than actual liquidity being injected in these coins. And my theory is that because this has been an institutional cycle where people can only buy Bitcoin via institutions using ETFs, the money hasn't really flowed to alt. And I think it will as the market tops, as people seek high returns from betas. I think we're going to start to see altcoins move from Bitcoin, as we already have, into other coins. And obviously this starts with Ethereum, as it is the next coin up in line other than Bitcoin that people would be interested in. But then we enter the altcoin arena, and there's a lot of coins out there. So this is going to be a harder cycle to navigate, I think, and it's going to be harder to find quality coins as there are more than 10,000 crypto coins out there to choose from, and obviously not all of them are going to pump. So this is going to be a flight to quality thing. And even though I do think the meme sector is going to pump, I think it's going to be the last to pump, as it usually is every cycle. And I think AI and DeFi are going to dominate. But as of right now, let's take a look at this chart right here, because this is going to give us an idea as to when to expect the pump. And right now, the others chart in percentage terms isn't doing too hot. You guys can see right here, we have barely pumped. So there's a lot of room for us to move to the upside here. This has basically just been accumulation in my eyes. People have just been buying coins outside the top 10 and accumulating as price has been moving to the downside. But the real fun doesn't start until we break this trend line to the upside and create a change in structure, because right now the structure has simply been down. We tried to break out on December 24th and we can see a huge move here. And let me just show you what this looks on individual charts, because it can be pretty misleading. Just take a look at the pump happened between November and December of 2024, end of the year. And if we just go to the Doge chart as an example to show you guys what the price action looks like, you can see a massive candle coming out of Doge, a 400% move to the upside from a multi-billion-dollar asset. Dogecoin currently sits at $32 billion. So you can imagine that was a massive pump of liquidity being injected into Doge. So this is what we can expect in a true alt season. Absolute madness, green candles coming out of nowhere. So that was from a little pump here back to the top of the trend line. So we're still looking to crack this and actually move higher than we have previously. What I expect for us to see this cycle at the very least is for this trend line to be broken and for us to make a move back to all-time highs, at the very least back to 18% dominance towards the end of the cycle, as we usually move very aggressively towards a blow-off top. So you guys can see in 2017 we moved up about 5,000%, and then in the last bull cycle we moved about 250%. So these moves are getting smaller, and yes, we could potentially take out that high, but as for now, to be conservative, as we don't have more data, I think just targeting the all-time high is going to prove to be extremely profitable, because you guys saw what happened with just a small move right there, about a 30% move to the upside. We're talking about a much larger move taking us to 18% with a 133% pump. Now that's a lot of liquidity going into the market in a short amount of time, I would imagine. We also have the moving averages blocking us right now. You guys can see it did its job right there, stopping us from moving higher. And I do imagine as we move towards the upside in the next couple of months, we are going to see a little bit of resistance as we hit that moving average, test down, and move back up. I do think this is going to happen fairly quickly. We can just take a look at the Ethereum pair for SBTC and see exactly how fast this moved. You guys can see about a 120% move in just a couple of months. Now, I have hinted on my channel that I think September is going to be a rather bearish month. And the reason being is the Bitcoin seasonality chart. So if we take a look at this chart right here, we can see that every month is basically green except for August, with a low return with about negative 6.4 negative return there, and then a massive red return right there, a 5% negative. So that is basically why I'm expecting a bearish September. Not only that, but we have had a bullish few months, so a little bit of a cool down wouldn't surprise me. But then what follows is incredible because we have a 30% return and a 37% return in November. So we have a lot of bullish months coming up here off of the tail end of the most bearish month of the year, which is September, the one we are currently heading into. So the key takeaway here is to get ready for the last couple of months of the year, as they tend to be the most bullish. And looking at the others chart, it looks to be bottomed, but we just need to break out of this downtrend to confirm and move towards the upside. And we've already got an FBTC showing us the way of max bullishness, and I don't think others chart is going to be too far to follow. The other total charts look incredibly good. You can see that total 3 is almost looking to crack all-time high, and this is going to allow others to gain more confidence as people will see the returns in alts begin to outweigh holding the larger coins. So towards the end of the cycle, greed and euphoria will tend to creep back in, and the alts will capture the share of liquidity. It's just going to take a little bit more time. I think the worst is behind us and the best is yet to come. So it's time to get ready for the most bullish months of crypto towards the end of the year. And as you guys know, my best picks are going to be AI and DeFi. I think DeFi is going to take the stage and then AI is to follow. And hopefully we get some fireworks off Bitcoin as we head towards 150K towards the end of the year. So that is the game plan right here. Just position in alt, hold tight as September gets to be a little bit rocky, and then sell the pump towards the end of the year. It's probably not going to be easy as we want more X's, but I'm just going to take what we can and then get ready for the next cycle. So that's it, guys. I hope this gave you an insight as to what we're expecting going to September and the last few months of the year. I think it's going to be really exciting. But as for now, that is it, and I'll see you guys on the next video.